Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Orion Tech Tips video. In today's video, we have a PC build. This is going to be my personal workstation slash gaming computer. Though I do find that most workstations make pretty good gaming computers, but it usually doesn't work the other way around. So I built this to be predominantly a workstation that is still excellent at gaming. So I am going to do this tech deals style. I am going to make 3 videos. The first one is a parts overview, and then the second one is the why video. That one is going to be the long, in-depth video, going to be about an hour, where I explain to you why I chose the parts and what other alternatives you can choose. And then the third video, the last video, is going to be the gaming benchmark, and just like how does this computer perform in the real world? Not just running synthetic benchmarks, but also real world use cases. Yeah, so that's Tech Deals format. Tech Deals, you haven't posted in over a year. Where are you? I miss you. Been watching you since 2016. I want more content. But anyway, without further ado, let's just get started. So this is the first part. This is the parts overview. This is going to be a short video, around 20 minutes. I'm going to try to do my best to not go over that 20-minute mark. And I'm just going to give you a parts overview, just explaining what the part is. And then part 2, I will be doing a more in-depth video. So if you prefer shorter form content, but still like my videos, then this video is right for you. But if you prefer my longer form explanations, like I usually do, well then you will probably like part 2. I just want to talk about the theme of this computer and why I built it. So the theme for this computer is upgradability and longevity. As people see here, I am, for the main components, I am using the Ryzen 7 9800X 3D, as well as an RX 7900 XTX. So inevitably someone will say, well, I can get that same gaming performance for a cheaper price. And yes, you're absolutely right, you can. However, you are going to sacrifice the upgradability and the longevity. You're not going to have as nice as a motherboard, CPU, power supply. It's going to make it less upgradable. It's not going to last as long. You're going to constantly be running out of storage. And then if you go to upgrade storage, you might be out of M.2 slots on your motherboard, or it might pull away lanes from your graphics card, slowing that down. If you try to install a new CPU, your cooler might not be beefy enough. You might not have enough RAM to multitask properly, so you might run into a bit of issues, but yes, you certainly can get this gaming performance for a cheaper price. This is a custom built computer, so I am expecting you guys to do just that, to customize your own computer. I customized this computer around my use case, but your use case may not be the same as my use case. So keep that in mind. I'm not expecting anyone to choose these exact parts. I'm expecting you to customize your own computer. Maybe you'll draw some inspiration and choose the same parts I chose. Now, keep in mind, this computer, if you build it right now, it's about $3,500. However, prices are constantly changing. Things are going out of stock, then back in stock. Prices are going up and down. They're constantly fluctuating. They're very volatile. So, for example, when I made my Dell G16 laptop video, I said the MSRP is $2,100. I think I bought it for like $1,800 or $1,900. Then a bunch of people in the comments were like fighting, it's this price, no, it's this price. Prices are constantly changing, and it will also depend on the region that you are in, so be sure to keep that in mind. However, in the video description down below, I will be linking my PC part picker list, so you can see all of the exact parts that I chose in case you're curious. Now let's get started with the CPU. Kicking things off, we have the CPU. I went with the Ryzen 7 9800X3D. 8 cores, 16 threads, 5.2 gigahertz out of the box, and a massive total of 120 megabytes of L3 cache. This thing is a beast, and if you only care about gaming performance, stop. You have come to the right place. Buy the CPU. No other CPU is worth considering if you just care about gaming performance. And for those keeping track at home, the CPU's MSRP is $480. However, today I found it on PC Part Picker for $475. So you save $5 if you buy it today, or at least at the time filming this. Okay, moving on to the motherboard. I am thrilled about this thing. This thing is a beast. This is the ASRock X870E Nova Phantom Wi-Fi motherboard. This thing is a beast. It has 5 M.2 slots, and even if you occupy all of them at full speed, your graphics card will still run at full speed. This thing supports up to 256 gigabytes of RAM, BIOS flashback, clear CMOS, more USB-A ports to shake a stick at, 5 gigabit LAN, RJ45. It has 2 USB 4 ports. That is absolutely insane. It has 2 PCIe 5.0 slots, so you can run 2 RTX 5090s if you are Mr. Moneybags. This motherboard supports it for an MSRP of only $350, but not only that, it typically runs for only $320. So, I mean, this thing is a steal. I mean, it is crazy. 4 SATA ports. This thing, it's like the Tai Chi, but just for a cheaper price. I mean, you're losing some power I guess you're going from 26 phase power to only 23 phase power. Oh, boohoo. This thing can still run the latest and greatest 16-core X3D AM5 chip, and of course AM6. This thing will run like a champ. I'll explain more about the upgrade path in the next video, the part 2Y vlog. Moving on to CPU coolers, I went with the Noctua NHD15G2. This is Noctua's latest and greatest CPU cooler with their latest and greatest G2 fans. MSRP is $150. However, this thing is in very high demand, so generally it goes for around $180. It's the price today that I checked in PC Part Picker. However, I would argue it's still worth it because this thing is a beast of an air cooler. It can cool the latest and greatest CPUs, even at the high end, even if you want to throw like a high-end Intel chip on this thing that can pull hundreds of watts. This thing can dissipate the heat. The 16-core AMD X3, this thing is amazing. I mean, you can use this computer, and then once you're done with it, you can still take this cooler and put it on the CPU that you have then. I mean, moving on to system memory. And I have a feeling more than one person will disagree with my decision, but that's okay. Please do so in the comments section down below. Boost engagement, helps the algorithm push this video out to more people. So I went with 128 gigabytes, 264 gigabytes, 5600 megahertz with a CL36 cast latency. This is Kingston Fury memory. Ran this in my laptop. Amazing, love it. I cannot wait to try out the desktop variant. This is also AMD Expo certified and Intel XMP 3.0 certified, so it will be running at its fast clock speeds. Storage. I went with two Western Digital 850X Black drives. This one I just bought. This is the 8 terabyte variant, and this is the 4 terabyte variant that you guys saw me install in my Dell G16. I am going to be transferring this over to the desktop. Now, these are Gen 4 SSDs with 7200 megahertz read and 6900 megahertz write. Gen 4 for gaming and most productivity, this is all you need. For the graphics card, this is the RX 7900 XTX. More specifically, the XFX Mercury Magnetic Air. Now, even though this card is last generation, this thing only came out, this specific model only came out about a year ago. Now, the story with this is that XFX heard rumors that AMD would release a brand new RX 7950 XTX, and they would beat everyone to the punch, developing this like massive 3.5 slot GPU with 3 8-pin connectors, so it can, in theory, pull up to 525 watts. That is insane. I will be testing that out for sure. But with amazing cooling, with very quiet fans. Not only that, but if a fan does break, you can just magnetically pop it off. Even when it's on, though the brand does advise you against it, though it will still work, and just pop on a brand new fan. So this thing is my favorite version, which is why I spent a little bit extra to buy the Mercury Magnetic Air variant. For the power supply, I went with the FSP Group 1200 watts, 80 plus gold, cybernetics gold, fully modular with Japanese e-capacitors. Now, originally, I thought the Japanese capacitors were just a marketing buzzword, and they kind of are, but I did a little bit more research, and it turns out that even at full load at 1200 watts, the capacitors in this can keep a charge for a few seconds after you unplug the power, which is pretty impressive. I mean, obviously, you should still be using a UPS, but I mean, these are some very impressive capacitors. So 1200 watts, this is ATX 3.0 ready, so even if you do have an NVIDIA card like a 5090, which yes, this thing can run, you don't have to use one of the melting adapters, so that is good news for you. If you are going with a high-end graphics card, you definitely should be going with a high-end power supply. Now, maybe you haven't heard of FSP, however, you've probably used one of their power supplies. Be Quiet, Corsair, MSI, they don't actually make power supplies. They buy it from the 3 vendors that actually make power supplies, FSP Group, Superflower, and Seasonic, and then they slap their logo on it. So this thing is definitely reliable. Even if you haven't heard of it, you've probably used one, maybe with like a Corsair or an MSI label slapped on top of it. So fully modular, 1200 watts, this thing can easily handle the entire build plus some. Even if you want to swap out the CPU for a 16-core X3, swap out the GPU for a 5090, fill up all the M.2 slots, occupy all the SATA ports, this thing can handle it. Now, yes, there are certainly power supplies more expensive than this, with a higher 1600 watt capacity, some lower end 1850 watt capacities. We'll talk about all of that, but I am quite confident in recommending this one. But I'll certainly, in part 2, I'll talk about what is above this and below this. For the case, I went with the Fractal North. Yes, this is the standard variant, and to be fully transparent, The only reason I went with this and not the XL or with like a bigger case is because I am limited on desk space, so I can't really fit like something massive. But I'll certainly talk more about the alternatives in part 2. But I mean, this thing does come with two 140mm bands. It does not come with an exhaust fan or any top or bottom fans, though I did get some fans, so we'll be talking about that soon. Even in this video, it does have a tinted, dark tinted glass, so that's pretty cool. If you don't like that, or if you want more airflow, which in this case already has plenty of airflow, you can get a Fractal North mesh. Though, yeah, you can't really see in, so I kind of want to, so that's why I went with the glass one. You get real, like, oak wood, which I just love. Oh boy, I don't want to break this. Do you see, like, the gold trim power button, 2 USB-A's, 1 USB-C, and then 2 gold trims on the legs right there. Oh man, I don't want to drop it on my head. You also get a removable dust filter with like a leather pull strap here. Very premium case. MSRP is $150. Typically, you can find this case for around that. Definitely a premium case, but in my opinion, it certainly has the premium features to go along with that. However, I say this in like every PC build. Cases are a personal preference. Everyone has, I mean, this is like a basic standard mid-tower, what most people are going with. Some people might want a bigger case or a smaller case. So again, it's a personal preference. I chose this for my needs, but maybe your needs are different. So again, personal preference. As I promised, last but not least, we are going to talk about the case fans I went with. Now, a lot of people in my like parts list builds comments, why didn't you go with any case fans? And I mean, for raw FPS, doesn't really make too much of a difference. But for my own personal build, I certainly do want case fans. So I'll show you what I went with, if these boxes will stay. So I went with 4 140mm Noctua fans, 2 up top, 2 in the front, and then this 120mm fan in the back. Yes, I did say that the Fractal North does come with 2 140mm fans. They're fine. If you do want to save money, yeah, sure, keep them. They're fine. Especially at like low to medium RPMs, though once they do like pick up, I do hear that they're a little bit rattly. But overall, they're fine. However, I just want all Noctua fans. I do want a nice and silent build, especially if I'm going to do Zoom calls, streaming, podcasts, all of that. It is nice to have a quiet PC, especially if I'm like live streaming a video game. Requires, I guess, a lot of performance for the fans to kick up. I don't want like a jet engine in the background. So that's why I went with all Noctua fans. You may be wondering why I went with a 120mm exhaust. That's because the case, the Fractal North non-XL, only has room for a 120. The XL can do a 140. I would recommend that. 140s, I mean, they can take in more air without having to spin as fast, so they are quieter, so that would definitely be my preference. But yeah, I mean, 2 140s up to keep the dust away. Also, better cooling, more fans so they can spin slower, so the machine will run quieter. But I will certainly be talking more about if you need fans, how many do you need, which fans do you need, more in part 2. So stay tuned for that if you want. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed part 1, the parts overview. Thank you again to Tech Deals for the format. I think this is excellent. If you are a type of person who likes my videos but wish they were shorter, well then hopefully this video was perfect for you. I didn't have a script, I just went off memory, so this video really tested my knowledge. If you have any questions, make sure to pop them down in the comment section down below, and I will answer them in part 2 that I am going to post in about a week's time. I'm curious your thoughts. What are your thoughts about this build? If you do want like a more price to performance gaming PC with the Ryzen 7 9800X3D and the RX 7900 XTX, would you be interested in a parts list? Because I can certainly make this build cheaper without giving up the gaming performance, just by giving up some creature comforts. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully, I will see you next in the next video. 2 gold stars for you if you've made it through this video, and I will see you next time. God bless.